evening, everybody. I'd like to call the meeting to order and invite you to stand for the Lord's Prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Our Father,
who art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 2.1, approval of the minutes from the board workshop on May 4th, 2023 at 9 a.m.
I move to approve the minutes from the workshop on May 4th.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
2.2, approval of minutes from regular school board meeting on May 11th, 2023 at 9 a.m.
I move to approve the minutes from the regular board meeting on May 11th, 2023.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Number 3, recognitions. Dr. Barfield?
Okay, is Miss Whitehead here? She's not here tonight? Oh darn, okay. So we'll start with Mr. Rios. Mr. Rios, if you would come up. So this says, appreciation award presented to Elias Rios in sincere appreciation for your outstanding service to Glades County School District. Thank you for everything for 17 years. Would you like to say something?
Yes, I'm really very honored to be at Mohaven Elementary, working here for the past 17 years. This really has been a blessing for me. Mr. Brickle kind of rescued me from Massachusetts. So, I mean, I'm here because this is where God wanted me to be. And I'm very, very, very thankful for all the people that helped me to go through the process of being a teacher here. It's a lot different working in Massachusetts, where it's a big city, and work here, in Moravian, that is kind of more peaceful kind of life. But it was such a wonderful blessing, and I always gonna keep you in my heart. Thank you very much. My wife, Rosa Matienzo, she's my partner in crime. She's supported me all these years, and I don't want to cry, but.
Thank you. Okay, and our next, Ms. Anna Ruth Coleman Beck, if you would come, please.
Oh, goodness.
Now, I've been fortunate because my children have been blessed to have both of these amazing educators. And so here it says, in sincere appreciation for your outstanding service to the Glades County School District, thank you for everything. And it's 30 years, but just to let everyone know, it's 30 years minus 1 month of 31, am I correct? Congratulations.
My goodness.
Thank you all. Thank you all so much. I look around and I think I taught most of the kids in here, not you all. I'm not quite that old, but when I look and see, if I taught your child or your grandchild, will you please stand up?
I can't think of
I'd like to introduce my family that came tonight to be with me. My husband Paul, if you come granddaughter, April, you stand up. April went to school here, and she graduated here. My granddaughter, Sydney. They drove down today from Chiefland just for this.
Oh.
My rest of my family, Susie and Angie and Taylor, they also came, and I just can't thank you all enough for 30 years, 31 years, even when I started doing substituting, Moorhaven was where I started, at that elementary school. And probably right in that same area, I ended up working in the same room I started out in.
Oh, my goodness.
So, that was quite a feat. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Julie Whitehead, even though she's not there, I do want to honor her because she has been an amazing person on our staff, and she is getting a tenure certificate. So.
Okay,
We get to say something.
if you would like to, sure.
Yeah, I want to say something. I want to say how much I appreciate Mr. Rios and Ms. Coleman for the service they've provided for our kids. I had the opportunity to work with both of them, and you're going to be greatly missed, greatly missed. Don't go anywhere.
Next school year hasn't started yet.
I keep thinking, but
They had a bet that I'll be starting back in August.
Well, I think they did change the law about that,
They
so.
did. They did.
Yeah, the drop law. you
Extended
can
it.
Come back now, so.
So we would love to have you if you want to. I can't speak for the principal, but
She can come on back.
We're letting you know that in advance. I think I sent a whole bunch of bugs to school with my son
You did.
in your class. He just thought you were the coolest person ever because he could bring bugs to your class. We had an exotic sale at that time, and there was all kinds of really crazy bugs, weren't they? All kinds of critters.
Like scorpions?
Well, there was probably everything.
Centipede and exotic centipede. We used to get it out on Friday afternoon and let it crawl around the classroom. It was about this long.
I wonder how many legs he had. Did you guys ever count them?
No, we did an
There were
estimate, we did a math.
Hundreds, probably hundreds.
Quite a few.
Yeah.
And Susan Mathis stepped back and stepped on him and crushed him. She felt so bad over that.
Well, we want to give a shout out to Susan today. She'll be watching this.
But it was a lot of fun. Then we did a science lesson to see if maybe he would regenerate his parts, but he didn't.
Well, I appreciate you. And Mr. Rios, I'm gonna miss you at Christmas programs. I've watched a lot of them. All my kids and
Yeah. I will miss it too.
yeah, I appreciated the music at the music and dance program last week. It was very nice, very nice.
I wasn't there. I'm sorry. I missed it.
Anybody else?
Well, thank you. I don't know what to say, but having been a teacher, it's gonna be hard when you leave the classroom and you're sitting home by yourself and you talk to your teacher friends and they're telling you all these cool things they're doing. It's hard and you're gonna miss those kids. But what you did, working with kids every day, is so much more important than what we're doing up here. And I realized that when I left the classroom. That's the most important work in this district, is that one-on-one with the kids. So thank you for that.
And I just want to say that I think for each of you, probably one of the greatest things is when you get to see students that you've had teach or their children teach. And I know, probably seeing TJ substitute probably was a little scary, but I will tell you, it was an honor. And Mr. Rios, you made his day by taking a picture with him. And, I'm sure TJ was just a joy to have in music class. And, but he really appreciated that. And Miss Beck, what you did for all of my children, I appreciate it. And then you had Tom, Kathleen, TJ. So, our district is going to miss you all, and like Miss Drake added, drop has been extended, and we would love for you to consider not leaving.
I would like to
We'll
wish,
let you sign tonight.
I'd like to wish both of you a really, really long, happy retirement.
Yes, yes.
You've earned it for sure.
It is gonna be fun. I forgot to mention that part. It's fun. There's a lot of fun things you can do now, so you'll enjoy it.
I've missed a lot of my grandchildren.
Yes.
And my family.
Yeah.
I've missed a whole lot.
Anybody else? Okay. Recognition of the Moorhaven Middle High School track students who went to finals or students.
Is Nate here? Is a track coach here? Okay. Ms. McPherson, will you introduce him, please?
The podium there, you can talk.
I would like to introduce our hurdler for the 110. I'm trying to get him to do the 400 hurdles. Everybody say, do the 400 hurdles, Archelius. But that's what we're trying to get him to do next. But this is our state 1A second runner-up, Archelius Acevino.
Look at that big medal.
Congratulations.
He was a 0.5 tenths of a second from first place.
Oh, wow.
From UT.
Wow.
What grade are you in? Are you gonna be back next year?
Yeah, junior.
Okay.
Yes.
Junior?
But the day before the track meet, he was working so hard. Well, no, the 2 days before the track meet, he was going over the hurdle. And Akua, he also helped as well. He was there. He was going. I was like, "Why are you screaming? Why is he screaming going over the hurdle?" He was like, "Let him do it. Let him have it." Because I was like, "Archelius, you're doing good." He's like, "No, Coach K, no, I can't. I'm gonna get beat like that. I gotta go lower on the hurdle." And he was just going over the hurdle screaming, "Ah, ah!" And the day of the track meet, came out of the blocks. That was another thing we're working on. And second place. I'm so truly proud of him. Oh, that's all I have to say. I'll stay up here all day giving you stories about Achilles. If you want me to. Y'all want me to? Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Kenedra is also a past graduate of Moorhaven High School, what was your graduate?
2013.
2013, and her infection and just really her passion for education is amazing. So we're glad to have her back and leading our young people.
She looks too young.
Yeah, she's young
She
herself.
looks like she should be in high school.
I get it all the time. All the time. Are you a coach? You look like a student. I'm like, oh, thanks.
Yeah, it's a compliment.
Yeah, so
Yeah, you'll love it one day.
Yeah.
So next year you'll be back with the state. You're going to win it next year. Okay. All right. Good
We
luck.
can't wait.
That's right. Congratulations.
Does anybody take a picture?
Yeah, there.
I mean, for us.
So is Artemis not here?
No.
Yeah, that's Artemis. Is Akila not here? Oh.
Okay, recognition of Moorhaven Middle High School seniors, Ms. Odom. Okay, awesome. Mrs. Moss.
I wanna just, you made me cry this book.
I saw that.
Easter loved you, and I appreciate you for what you did and for teaching him, and he was, I know, not easy, school he despised, so thank you for making it through that year with him. It's a pleasure. It was. And we're the students, and I'm very proud of you too. She was one of my students, and I'm super proud of her. And Kuba, too.
Thanks, Miss Moss, for making us all.
Yeah.
Where are those
I have
kids?
7 boxes of tissues I bought for the boardroom and you're in my car.
Okay, so I'm going to start with recognizing the seniors who acquired their AA degree. They actually graduated on May 5th from FSW, so Dr. Garfield and Dr. Daly and I went, and Mrs. Drake, for their graduation at the FSW campus. We had 17 graduate this year. So that was more than our first year, so this is our second year doing it.
How many did you have last year?
13.
Okay.
My first group, there was 13 when I took over. I took over when that group was the end of their junior year. So there was 13 of those, 17 are juniors, there's 19 of those. So next year we should have 19 of them, and so far they're doing great and succeeding and doing well.
Yay.
I will say that our kids are very involved in the school. We've got athletes, we've got FBLA members, FFA members, band members. So they're still in all the functions at school and really make a difference at the school, even though they're not per se in the classroom with the other students. They are really involved with everything that goes at the school, and I'm proud of them because that's a lot of work to do the things that they're doing, all the outside stuff, plus getting 5 college classes a semester. They take 15 hours a semester, which is a full load. So they're doing 15 hours a semester, and some of them, might work a job or, like I said, play a sport in clubs. So they're really a great group that we have. So I'm super, super proud of them.
Ms. Moss, I just want to say, Monday I went down to the commissioners for dual enrollment, and we met in like a group of Florida FSW schools. It was Hendry, Glades, Collier, and Lee counties and Charlotte counties, and we were all in one group. And they gave us our data for the schools that the percentage of passing of the school, of every class that they've taken, and they compared us by high schools. And I'd say most of them, I'd say probably out of 90% of them, Moorhaven had a higher percentage of pass rate than any other school. So they're doing wonderful things out there, and I know the kids are really they're doing the very best they can.
They're making us proud. They're doing phenomenal. I'm super proud of them. It's like I said, it's not easy. And a lot of our kids that graduated last year are doing well. Like they're doing amazing. They'll message me sometimes telling me how they're doing, how things are going. We have several at universities, some of them in limited access programs. Reese Davis just got in political science at FSU, which is a limited access program. She had to turn her portfolio and all kinds of stuff. So our kids are doing great. So I'm gonna call all the kids. I know not all of them made it. I'm thinking the weather might have kept some of them from coming in, but I'm gonna start with our college kids first. So if they'll come up when I call, we had Miguel. Gloria, Rohan Campbell, Aaliyah Cardona, Emmanuel Endo, Lillian Everett, Cheyenne Laura, Ryan Lyle, Shirley Mazaragas, Sean Miner, Riley Mullins, Davisha Myers, Lenina Myers, Pilar Panagua, Carmen Perez, Stephen Rennis, Angelica Ronas, and Ruby Rodriguez. And I want to also say that Stephen is your salutatorian. So some of these, they were very involved. Stephen did a ton of community service. We're helping out at the cafeteria at the high school. Lily, of course, is involved in all kinds of clubs, and I think she did track this year. Sean was drums in the band. He also played baseball. So they, like I said, they're just really amazing kids. Very proud of them. All right, so my next list is going to be your GPAs. Is that what you mean? 3.5 or higher GPA. So this includes not only, let's sit right there though. Not only the students down there with me, but this is all of your high school seniors that I'm gonna call out. So these are all high school seniors that have an unweighted GPA of 3.5 or higher. So the difference between weighted and unweighted means like the honors classes and stuff don't count, it's just everything is as it is. Weighted is when they throw the honors courses in. So these are all unweighted 3.5 or higher GPAs. So we have Aaliyah Cardona, Emmanuel Endo, Lillian Everett, Cheyenne Laura, Shirley Mazaragos, Riley Mullins, Davisha Myers, Pilar Panagua, Stephen Redis, Ruby Jose Mateus, and Anakia McKenzie. Those were the students from the graduating class with a 3.5 or higher unweighted GPA. I know sometimes they think I'm a little hard on them and stuff, but it's because I know what they can do, so.
As if you didn't say Uber driver.
I am Moorhaven Elementary's Uber driver. I've been delivering them lunch, and I also saved Miss Barfield one day. She was stuck on the side of the road, and I had to Uber her to where she was going.
It was a day I kind of decided to walk out of and walk somewhere.
I want to thank you too to Dr. Barfield and the school board, because anytime I call and I ask for things that I know are, even though they might be expensive, that our kids need, they're always open and making sure that our kids have everything they need. And I will tell you, I mean, it's expensive, but they are always stepping in, and, I mean, there's calculators, there's laptops, we provide them with laptops, scientific calculators, of course, their books, and tuition are covered, so they're always, up for anything that I ask them for, so thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. All right, now,
I love these meetings.
I think we're gonna take a 5-minute recess.
Can we get pictures with them?
Yes.
Yeah, we need to get a picture with Mr. Rios and Ms. Beck, please.
Sure. Picture time. So who's gonna take our pictures?
That's one of them, she wants you to go, they want to go. Good.
I'm 17 years old.
Thank you. Now everybody. Okay, yeah. Well, it wasn't before the board, it wasn't.
I was like, okay, I don't know what Miss Drake is doing back there. What is she doing? I don't know, but I thought she was gonna fall. Nobody picks my belt, I tell you. Tim and I, it was like this, it's all up here and all the way down here.
Gummy bears back here.
Yes, absolutely. Who is the seat? Miss Garles. Do you want Mr. Buckle in here too? Oh, there's Belinda. I'm trying to get all the principals, you and Mr. Buckle and Christy. Mr. Buckle. Where is Mr. Buckle? Here he is. Mr. Buckle.
It's like one of the class reunions.
I know, I love to see all of y'all here. Hang like I did, prepare for a picture.
There, go ahead.
There we go. Yeah.
Take care.
I need another principal at my school. It would be, you can have all the way around to the podium.
Crazy. I'm glad they're all here. I love these meetings at the end of the year. I mean, it's sad that people are retiring.
I'm gonna squeeze you.
But it's also you're happy for them too, you know, because they always make Jenny and I cry for them. We've always, I almost did because Monique, well no, I was crying because Monique was crying. Bad.
She did take them.
On my legs. They tie, they're open and they're tied down there.
He's military. Military.
Oh, man. Let's go to their
Sister,
I'm so glad when I was driving here, I'm so glad that there was a video in front of me and I could see their lights. The column.
She's in there with them.
All right. Get the board members up here in the house.
Oh, I can see it. I can see that.
Oh, you can see that?
Oh, I can see it.
All right.
Anybody, any comments? But another severe weather.
Yeah, I think everybody check in.
You could have given me some freaking. Jackie just said,
You're gonna use that?
Jackie said there's another severe weather alert, and then you get that. Look, you did good.
How do you put some right here? There's a kitchen back there, you're just gonna find a cup, it's not a water dispenser.
You.
Alright, what's up?
No moonshine.
Huh?
Those gummies are hard.
Come on, Kim. Who's coming?
I think we're pretty quick as shaking another one of those bags out.
Congratulations. We'll see you in August.
I
Don't forget the $20 of reference.
Oh, I hope not, have people go on.
Gonna see It's coming back.
Top of Mrs. Coleman. I miss it back. Oh, it's a joke.
No, he said something in there, you can put me down as a reference. For real, so we know where they're
I
going.
don't know. Okay, are we ready?
I am.
Call the meeting back to order. Item 4.1, approval of the finance reports. Approve the April 2023 financial reports and warrant register.
I'll make a motion to approve, but I do have a comment.
I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, Crystal?
I did speak with Dawn, and we're gonna need to do an amendment to, account number 6,500. If you noticed on your financial statement was a little out, so we're gonna do an amendment at the next board meeting to correct that.
Okay. Which one?
6,500,
Okay.
it's just the, grants transfer that needs to be done.
Okay.
And we need to do a budget amendment for that.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else from anybody else? All in favor? Number 6, public comment on agenda items. Jackie?
No, ma'am.
Number 7, the consent agenda. Does anybody have anything they need to discuss?
Did you do the proposed amendments to the agenda?
Oh, no.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just saying.
5.1, approve the proposed amendments to the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then we already did public comment. Okay. Consent agenda.
I would like to pull 7.2 for discussion.
Anybody else? Take a motion to approve everything but 7.2.
So moved.
Second.
What was the first one?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Mrs. Proat.
On the spreadsheet that was attached for the changes in human resources, hires, resignations, and/or transfers, I noticed that we are being asked to approve a transfer of Brian Gresseth to from administrative services to safety director, and we have not approved a position for director of safety.
I did talk with Jackie about that, and at her training, her recent training she went to, they said that that's the way we should be doing it, I guess. And when we approve this spreadsheet, we are approving the position and the transfer all at once, possibly. I don't know, it's an area we might need to talk to Mr. McKinley about.
Okay.
So do we need
Did
to
I say that
approve?
right?
I know we approved a job description, but we discussed at that meeting when we approved the job description that then we would need to come back with a recommendation for a position.
Right.
And that's what she's recommending is that position.
Okay.
So this is a recommendation to create a position for director of safety.
Correct, for the state.
Okay.
So that will be reflected in the minutes that this creates a position for the Director of Safety
And a transfer.
and the transfer. To me, it seems like two different
Yeah.
items.
I wondered the same thing, like, we didn't approve the position yet, but we're transferring somebody to it, so just wanna make sure that we do it correctly.
So
I
it-
think we're all in agreement to do it, it's not that.
So possibly we could, get Mike McKinley to just review it.
Yeah, make sure that,
He saw this before, so I mean, just though, bring it to his attention to make sure we're doing it right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always safe to be safe.
Okay.
On this, do we still get the letters of resignation attached with these?
No, ma'am. They're not allowed to be put on.
I think that's something you got from one of your
I'm
trainings
getting
as
a lot of
well.
stuff out of training, because I've
I
not,
was just questioning because we
yeah, I've
haven't.
not done board docs training, so this is all, so each training I go to, they're like, nope, you shouldn't do that. Okay, I won't do that anymore.
But I guess if we wanted to see one, we could
Absolutely.
You
request
did
it.
ask, that's correct,
100%.
yes ma'am, that is correct.
And the paraprofessionals at Westglades that are being, reduction in force is their reason for termination, I guess. If we have any, what about those students who we offered up at, if they could come back and work, they would be considered for filling these positions before someone else from outside would be.
So none of the students accepted the positions, out of seniors, the 17 seniors, so none of those seniors accepted. So
And is it, I mean, was there a time limit
there
on
was.
that? Because I
Yes, ma'am.
wasn't aware there was a time limit.
there was a time limit because, Florida Gulf Coast, FSW had to have the number where they could proceed with getting the scholarship set up. It wasn't on us as much as it was FSW. So, and they were told that. I only had 2 students that actually came and spoke to me about it. And once that they, we discussed that they had to go into education, they were like, no, thank you.
What a shame, what a shame.
But, I do feel like that once we've put it out there for next year, it's something that, it's completely 2 different classes. This class compared to next year's class, I think this upcoming seniors may be more motivated and they know that that's an option, that's something that we can be talking up to them, especially, trying to stay in the educational field.
I shared it on mine, and I had people from all over saying, that they couldn't believe that they wish they lived closer for their children to be able to pursue something like that.
And there was part of the governors in that summit, one of the sayings was, stay close, grow further. And that's, what here we could have accomplished, which I know wasn't your point, but it's just, it is something that we need to do in trying to keep people locally and trying to grow our own. Speaking with Highlands County, they are over 100 teacher vacancies for right now. Okeechobee has over 50 teacher vacancies right now. And that's just 2, counties that are near.
What's our number?
So we're around 40, and that's including all of our ESE, our, blind and hard of hearing teachers. It's including our speech teachers. So that's including all, all the different things that we're needing for the ESE department. We're adding 2 autism units, which we've never had in Glades County before, but the need is there, and so we have to be able to service those students. And when you have an autism unit, you have to make sure that you have the required, everything that's required as far as to service them. Also, in speaking with our Hendry County and Okeechobee counterparts, this is something that we're getting a wave of students that are needing these services in autism, and so we've just got to make sure we keep up with what's going on. We also have, we're going to have a medically fragile room at Westglades. It looks like we may have to be adding an additional medically fragile room, which would be a student that needs, has special needs in whichever way, that they're considered medically fragile. So, and that requires special nursing, You know, if they need speech and language, OT or PT. And so in that number that I gave you, that number is included in how many we need. So as far as, I think Moorhaven Elementary, you need, what, 4? 5, so she needs 5. West Glades, I think they need 3. So our instructional numbers aren't that high as much as we need the specialty ESC units.
And if we don't get that, we have some people up in our bordering counties that can take our students. I mean, if we, for some reason, don't have it, I know we're trying to do it, but in the meantime, Ms.
I think that Ms. Boyles is working out something with,
Contracting also.
right,
Okay.
contracting out with different service providers.
Okay.
Because I know, like Hendry County, I think it's off of Linda, you're also having a huge, I mean, it's a lot of students with special needs are coming into our, Hendry and Glades County, and it's not just Hendry and Glades County, I think it's everywhere, but, with us being all rural districts, it's really difficult because it's hard enough to just get teachers that are certified, 1 through 6, but then to find a teacher that's certified in autism or that has a special, exactly. So it's really difficult, and I know that Ms. Boyles is doing everything she can to make sure that we're going and searching, but we're also competing with counties that are a lot larger than us, and I'm talking like your Colliers, your large districts that they're able to offer incentives that we just aren't able to offer. So we've got to find a way to compete with them, and I don't necessarily think that it's a financial reward that they're after. I don't know. We're looking at several different things. I know we have itinerants that are, doing online. I mean, we're doing everything, but we have a blind and vision teacher that is online, and that blows my mind. How does that even work? But they said it works. But I know that's not the question you're answering. I probably went around the whole state to get to that, but anyway.
So Dr. Barfield,
Yes, ma'am.
our current paras, would FSW help them get their AAs? Well,
Yes.
you've gotta have the AAA to be the para now.
You have to.
So, but would they help them with their bachelor's?
So we're working on something with them now, and also Florida Gulf Coast. I just met with Florida Gulf Coast, and they also wanted to do a program to where they do like an outreach where if they had a group of paraprofessionals, they would come out here and do like a satellite class, and maybe.
Oh, yeah. That'd be great.
The problem is, and I think this is what made that offer so great for our seniors, is that they work around like your internship hours, that those people continue to get paid. So that was the plus for our seniors. But yes, I mean, that's something we are working on, and I know I've had a couple of paraprofessionals email me and ask, what are the possibilities of getting some financial assistance to get their degree.
Good.
Okay. Now we still need to take action on number 2. Right? We still need a motion and a second.
We don't have a motion yet.
No.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve the changes in human resources as attached.
Second.
Any more discussion?
Do you want me to send Mike McKinley an email and have him respond to everyone?
Please.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 8, nothing. Number 9, amended agenda items, 9.1, approval of acquisition of an electric bus fleet.
Do we have the PowerPoint that Mr. Griffiths put together? Did everybody
Have
get a
the
copy
book.
of it?
Yes.
Okay.
So that we can get into discussion, I'm gonna make a motion that we accept option 3 as presented in Mr. Griffith's PowerPoint, that the Highlands company pays the cost of the vehicles over the grant amount awarded and pays $15,000 per bus per year for 15 years, and they retain the titles of the buses. And that we
No,
get-
they don't pay the 15, we pay the 15.
No, well, this says they pay it.
But we pay it.
Yeah.
That might be a typo.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm reading it wrong. Yes, we pay the 15.
Right, I'll second that motion.
Wait a minute, we don't have title anymore?
We don't have
We're not
what?
gonna own them?
This option is like a lease option, and it saves us that $230,000 that we have to pay for the buses if we buy them. It secures the grant funds for us, but it's basically a lease program. We're gonna pay,
I see it, but I never realized we were giving up title.
yeah,
Okay.
that was a new idea they came up with since he presented to us.
I mean,
But
Is it-
what I liked about this is if it doesn't work, to me, it's risky what we're doing. And if it doesn't work, we'll have a way out.
But we've already gotten rid of those school buses.
I
If it doesn't
spent a lot of time with Mr. Griffiths going over everything in here, and this is his recommendation. He thinks this is the best, and I agree with Ms. Drake. It's like a lease. A lot of people lease their vehicles, and like she said, if something doesn't work out, they're not ours, we're not stuck with them.
okay,
They belong to Highlands, and we're just leasing them.
okay.
And it does say in here that the cost for the electric is about 10,000. Did I read that right? So that, we're still only gonna be a difference of 5,000. And the hope is that that will be made up for in the lack of maintenance on these older buses. I mean, the thing about this to me that's really good is we're gonna get 13 new buses in 1 year. I mean, that's like, we're never gonna have that opportunity again.
And remember, 14 of our buses, 14 of them are over 10 years old, and I want to say 6 are over 20 years old, and only 3 of them have air conditioning. So this will completely recreate our fleet. And I mean, I know for me, this is not my wheelhouse. This electric bus thing is all new to me. I was very nervous about it because I've heard pros and I've heard cons about it. But I do trust my director, and I believe that he has researched it, and him and I have talked hours and hours about it. And I do feel like that, one thing I like is, I wish that the audience could see the PowerPoint, because one of the things that I like about the PowerPoint, and if anybody wants to see it, you're welcome to, I can give you a copy. But I like that it includes the current buses that we use and the mileage, because these buses will go over 140 miles a day on one charge. And so that would take out all of our Westglades buses, because they're under that mileage mark. And it takes out, I believe, 7 of our Moorhaven buses. So
I have some more questions. And did we decide where the buses would be kept? The different areas?
one half will be at Moorhaven and the other will be at Westglades.
And security.
The what?
Security. For the buses, the batteries, and the charging points. Are they gonna be fenced in with lighting and,
I
you know,
don't
does
know
that-
that.
can
I
you
don't
imagine what those batteries are worth?
Yeah, I didn't.
Well, they're gonna
They'll
be
be right
secured
by the
inside
gym.
they're gonna be.
The one at
secured.
Westglade is gonna be by the gym. Where they
I just
park the
never- I
buses
never had a
now, which is under
conversation.
Well, we've had
law.
theft out there
Yeah, I
already, so
know.
we're gonna have to have security,
Yeah,
big measures.
So
security
with-
measures.
cameras on the buses.
Cameras and high fences and, we had all that and we still lost a bunch. We had,
I just can't answer that because I never had that conversation with him. I just assume that whatever the security is for the buses we have now will be the security that we have when we have electric buses. I can follow up with you, I can email you, but I have not had that
well,
conversation with
I'm
him.
just making a statement for everyone, or
Nope, not a
there's gonna
problem.
have to be some type of security at these areas, these charging stations. I
Madam
would
Chairman?
think.
Yes.
Sorry, another clarification, on this option 3, so if we go by option 3, we're getting the buses getting rid of our buses that we have, so now we have no titles on any of our buses.
Not
No.
all of
We're
them.
not getting rid of all of our buses.
We're getting rid of 13 of our buses.
So we'll have 3
No,
or
No.
6.
And those buses will be used for,
And they're pretty new.
yeah, they're almost, 3 of them are almost brand new. Those will be used for like far distant, routes as well as games, trips, that sort of thing.
You have to realize we're not gonna be out any money. We have a grant and they're paying whatever it is over that. If you read it.
Says we have currently 22.
And that increases 3% each year per bus.
In other words,
15
if this
years.
fell through, we would still be able to go get more. Because it's gonna be like the hottest commodity going for transportation for public schools or any schools. That's the only thing that I'm not nervous about. Or what makes me not as nervous.
This is an opportunity also that only 3 districts
3 districts in the
state
state.
got. So-
We're gonna have 9 buses left, 9
Right.
diesel buses.
Right.
So, you know, once we get, this is what I'm thinking, once we get the new school and we get rid of our payment back to the state,
Correct.
we could pick back up on buying 1 bus per year. And we could actually do what the citizen recommended, look into some gasoline buses and do some research on that. So we could get back on our cycle, you know, so that at the end of the 15 years, we say, we hate electric buses, they don't work, we don't like them, they, whatever, then we'll still have built the fleet up and doing our 1 purchase per year.
Correct.
But it would take us 13 years to get 13 new buses. And so by the time you buy your last one, the first one, I mean, they have about a 20-year lifespan.
What
What do
I
they have,
think,
Mr. Brickle?
We've got a lot more than 20 years out of those. I retired in 1981 when I was here. So, yeah. So, yeah, they last a long time. You hate to see them last that long.
Well, the other thing is, and I can't give you any numbers, but Mr. Gresseth did a lot of math, calculations on the cost of maintenance on the diesel buses. There's virtually no maintenance on these. And any maintenance that they need is covered under that 15,000 that we pay. That covers replacing the batteries if they go bad.
tires.
That covers replacing tires, that covers everything. And so we're gonna save
A lot
of money on what we're spending now on the cost of diesel fuel and maintenance on those old buses. I just don't see how we can go wrong.
I think too that we have to put aside, I know that we've each been contacted from different community people concerning, you know, the whole bus, the electric bus. And I know that's nerve wracking because, as I said, for me, you know, I had to make a recommendation and I made it on behalf of what I trusted my director and I put my faith in what he said. Because I just keep going back to how old our fleet is. And, you know, and I don't know which board member I was talking to today when I said this, but we're 1 motor away or 1 motor or a transmission or from, you know, having a really big mess. And if this is something, we're one of 3 districts in the state that were awarded this grant. And, you know, politics aside, we all know that this was a very partisan situation. And I think for our district, we have to put that aside and make the decision based on what's best for our district. And we're a small district. Our mill is not strong. We're getting ready to build a school. I mean, we've got a lot of costs that are fixing to come, you know, through our district that I don't think we have really, truly, adding a bus on top of that, thought through.
But I still think it sets an example. With us being rural and agriculture, we're doing the responsible thing by going green.
I
My
agree.
personal opinion. If we start now, then as we develop and
And Mr. Gressett wanted to be here, but unfortunately he could not. He had a family situation he had to attend to.
So I want to ask a question. I should have asked Mr. Gressett this, but one of the things that sold me was the fact that the bus can be a generator
Correct.
when you have a hurricane or whatever.
Absolutely. Yep.
But then I'm like, but wait a minute, the bus has got to be charged with electricity. So it's going to be a generator until that one charge
A little
runs
while.
out.
Correct.
Yeah.
But if you had 13 buses that were fully charged, when your power went out, you would have 13 generators.
And also you
Right?
can
Am I thinking
sell,
right?
yes, and you can also sell power back from the buses to the power company.
Right.
When they're parked,
Yes.
Like in the summer when we're not
Hasn't,
using
has
it.
anybody given the data on the amount of return on that?
I'm sure misstated to Mr. Gressett.
I thought he said $3,000. Somebody said $3,000 per bus per month? Does that sound right?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
What was your question?
How much power we'd be able to sell back. I thought that's what somebody said.
Or the amount in return?
I'll ask him and email it to you.
All right. Any more questions?
And we're having to do this now because they need
It's a deadline.
it's a deadline by June.
Yes. So it all isn't, the reason we have to do it now is because the grant is when the deadline on the grant is.
Yeah, by the time the next board meeting is, we will have missed.
Correct.
Too
And I
late.
think he already got one extension.
He
did.
He did.
I'm the same way Dr. Barfield is. I'm leery. Well, I don't know if you're leery. I'm leery. But I went over it, Ms. Pearl, with Mr. Gressett. I read all the material. Anything new is a little scary, you know. I haven't made the plunge and bought an electric car yet, you know. But I have friends that have them and they love them. So I trust Mr. Gressett. He spent hours on this, and I trust that he would not get us in something that he didn't believe was for our best interest.
I agree.
And so
I
I'm
agree.
really leaning on his research and his expertise. And, you know, at some point, we can't all be experts on everything that comes before us. So this is kind of out of.
I just didn't realize that they retained the title set.
Well, that was new. That was something they came up with. And they also reduced, since our last meeting, the monthly fee went down, if you notice, from 15.5 to 15. So when they heard that we were maybe not as interested, they came down a little bit.
You know, and
Well, it's not a little bit, it's $500 times 13.
Right.
a
And I
month.
think back to what Roberta said, and I know Felinda said she's driven the other buses, but I know she said that when she drove the bus, there was such a difference in the noise and just the feeling of the bus. And I wouldn't know how to drive a school bus. I know Ms. Pearl would never ride with me, but if I could drive a school bus, I would do it in a heartbeat. But I have to, leery's a good word. I think I've tried to, Mr. Gressett and I have had hours and hours upon hours of conversations about this. We have talked, we've gone to meetings, and I have tried my very best to understand it. I've listened to webinars, I've listened to the pros, I've listened to the cons.
Cons?
Well, yeah, I think the cons are that it's a very political, it's a very, that people are
Well, I
very
understand that, but still,
debatable.
like I say, I
and-
think that we should, at school, we should be setting an example. So,
And I do think that 15 years is a long time. But we can't be planning, and like I said at the last board meeting, we can't plan for 4 years or 5 years down the road. We have to plan for 15 years.
And we know exactly what our costs are going to be
Absolutely.
with this. We can budget for that every year.
Yep.
We don't know if one of those
Right.
40-year-old buses is
So,
gonna
we just
decide to go on us, and all of a sudden, in the middle of the year, we gotta buy a new
Or
bus.
two of them break.
Yeah, I mean,
we just wanna be real sure about the contracts and make sure that's really gone over. That's my only thing.
yeah.
I mean, that's.
A lot of the other counties have said that, like when you ask, how do you like this? You haven't gotten your buses yet, but you've been approved for this, and a lot of them are still nervous, even though they've approved it, they're not there, but they're like, there's just so much uncertainty and
Well,
unknown.
you're saying other counties, but they don't have the deal we have. There's only 3 counties in the whole
But
state
they've
that
brought
have.
their.
Yeah, I know, so I mean, they're in it. We're not. like they are. They didn't get grants. And they're expensive.
I call for question.
Okay.
Isn't that something in Robert's rules?
It is.
That means let's go.
I'm impressed.
So what did we do, Jackie?
We're just
We've got
waiting for.
Motion and second.
We need to vote.
Just need to vote.
Okay, anybody have anything else they wanna say or question? Mrs. Braun said. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carried. 9.2, approval of budget workshop on June the 5th at 9 a.m.
Motion to approve, I already have it on the calendar.
This is the formality.
Second.
Any questions or comments, or y'all are getting my Monday off again? All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the 248-day calendar for 2023-24.
I'll move to approve the 248-day calendar for 23-24.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
9.4, approve VPK provider contract from Dell VPK 20 between Early Learning Coalition of Southwest Florida and Glades County School District, July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024.
I'll move to approve, but I do have a question.
And I'll second.
Okay.
Now, this is the same contract that we did last year for VPK, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Barfield? Okay.
And this is pretty much just something that we fill in the blanks. It's-
Jimmy signs outside.
it
And do we have
covers-
any scores on our VPK? Like, don't they do some kind of like pre and post test?
We should be
With
getting
them?
them very shortly, yes.
Actually, I think in the contract it says something about beginning, mid, and end of year assessment. I read the boring contract. I took a
I don't
nap
remember seeing
right
that.
afterwards.
Do you?
Yeah, I'd like to see those
I was
sometime.
gonna say, I don't remember seeing any.
Because, I mean, do we have a choice? Isn't the Early Learning Coalition, is that the only people we can do business with? That's it, right, for our area? Okay.
But we would like to see the results
Yeah.
of those assessments, yeah.
Make sure they're kindergarten ready.
Okay, anybody, anything else?
General.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 10, general public comments.
No, ma'am. Sorry.
Number 11, board member comments and business. We're gonna start with you, Kim.
So I would love to say that I am so proud of all of our students here this year, whether they've received an award or they've been acknowledged for something or not, they've made it to the end of the year. There's been so many people that have contacted me this year about complaints, but then we've also had people that are like, let me tell you what happened to my kid today, and just praising their teacher, their principals, their guidance counselors. That's the good stuff. That makes you know that we might not be doing it right every day, but for somebody that may not have made it through the year, my son, per se, was on a first grade reading level when he started third grade this year, and he has tested out. So shout out to Allison Gary, because she has a room full of boys that are very energetic, and so I am just so appreciative to all the teachers and very proud of the kids, whether they've been recognized or not. I'm very proud of them. Being a past board member on the Glades County Soil and Water Conservation, I seen that we had, did she place third in the state?
Yes, Paisley, yep.
Yes, we had a Moorhaven elementary student place third in the state with her picture this year. And I don't know if we can recognize her or whatnot, but you should see the amazing talent these kids in the elementary school have. They can draw up anything you can imagine. It's very interesting to see their artwork. Yes, that one was
So
on
we
mine.
did get to see them, okay, I saw it, yes.
So I just wanna say that it's so good to see the kids having fun and doing things that are outside of school, and people wanting to put their money with the kids and doing good as well. That's all I have.
Okay.
And I do wanna recognize her, but we'd already dropped the agenda, so for the next board meeting, we can have her come. I know that she'll be excited about that.
Okay, Crystal?
Oh, I thought you were saving me till last.
No, go.
Well, I want to thank Ms. Clement for the work you did on the 4-H. Used to be Tropicana, now, what's it called?
It's been Tropicana speech forever, and
Yeah.
I cannot not say
Say
Tropicana
it, I
speech
know.
with the FPL representative
FPNL,
there.
FPNL. You did a great job with the competition here at the Dole Connor. I was very impressed with the speeches were amazing, just the way you handled the program. You did a great job. I was proud of you. That's really
I get
good.
real excited and nervous in case you can't tell.
And I was proud of the kids as well. It was great. And today, Ms. Perlott and I went to the kindergarten celebration. And of course, we're proud of the kids. They were doing songs.
At Westglade School,
West Glades,
And I
at West
know
Glades.
that's- and I missed it.
And these teachers were right down from us, and they were just going nuts. And I was like, Lena, and of course, they were mouthing the words and doing the motions. So I had a student sneak out and take their picture, because to me, that just warms my heart to know that they're so into it. You know what I mean? Like they really wanted their kids to do well. And it was a great program. They did a great job. I did want to mention that if you all read your FSBA announcement about tomorrow's phone call, it had a link in there to our platform this year, and almost everything that was on our platform was approved or, gotten in some, we got some movement towards what we're trying to go to. I thought about that, and it sounds like we were very successful in our lobbying efforts, but really, we only asked for things we knew they would go along with, because the lobbyists were very, saying you have to be strategic. We know they won't, if you ask for this, we know it's gonna be a straight up no. So don't ask this year. Maybe next year you can get that. So in taking their advice and only pushing for the things that we knew they could get through this year, we did very well. And we got our funding, so hey, we did great. I did want to bring up a couple things. One, I touched base with Ms. Barfield about it today. And that is the career counselor at the high school position. I wanted to just throw that out there to see if anybody thinks that's something we ought to try to talk to Carol and see if, well, I know before it was funded out of the career budget, the Perkins money and stuff. It was a very effective position. I think I was the first one, and then Dr. Heisman did it after me, and he did a phenomenal job. And it takes a lot of work off your high school guidance counselor, and we did reduce that down to one person. And I just want to throw that out for you all to think about. We did away with it a while back, but to me, it was a very valuable. I mean, they do all the scholarships. They take that off the guidance. They work with the Westglades 8th grade. They do career day. They work with the CTE program teachers and help them get the things they need. So I just want to throw that out for food for thought while we're working on our budget this year. Another thing I want to throw out for you guys to think about is ROTC. It's the officers training program. I don't know anything about it other than other schools have it, and it's a very successful program. And I would love, Dr. Barfield, if you could get somebody on your staff to look into it and see what are your costs for a program like that. Do you get CTE points for that? I'd love to see us start thinking about adding that to our programs.
That's a
I'll
great
interrupt
thing.
you for just a second to tell you that I tried to do that when I was principal, and that was a long time ago, and a lot of things may have changed. But at that time, we did not have enough students to justify a program. We were denied. They may have changed it,
Yeah.
but,
We don't have many more students than we had then.
but they may have changed the requirements.
Right.
I don't know, but I pursued that because I think it is an awesome
Yeah.
program, and I've seen other schools have success with it, but they denied my request
Okay.
because of the number of students we have.
Okay.
But it wouldn't hurt to ask
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
My father did that, but he was the only child, so they didn't send him off to service, but he did ROTC, yes. He taught my brothers and my sister, myself, all of us, with this training from there. And I was little. I was like 7.
I did want to let you all know that Representative Tuck and Senator Grohl wrote letters to our seniors, and they're gonna be in with their diplomas, hopefully.
That's awesome.
Representative Tuck's letters aren't here yet as of this afternoon, but hopefully we'll get them. Impact fees, I was listening to the county commission meeting the other night, and this may be the time for us. Ms. Allen, do you think it's a good time? Because they were talking about infrastructure needs for the new development, and even one of them said, well, maybe we shouldn't have, maybe we should reconsider the impact fees.
Well, yeah, the department's been directed to get a cost on it, on a new study, because that has to be done in order to put it back into effect.
Okay,
So.
so they're moving in that direction.
Yeah, they're moving at least to find out about it.
Yeah, so I think we should, anytime we contact or have conversations with any commissioners, we need to put that in their ear, you know, like, we're interested,
I think they need to be
because it would
reinstated,
help us a lot.
Yes.
but they probably wouldn't affect them because
And
they already
almost every
purchased them by
district has them, I don't know why
without
in
them.
the world we don't.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Almost every district has
I
impact
know.
fees, I don't know why in the world we would not.
The amount of money that we could have gotten for the district this past year when all that construction was going on, would have bought quite a few buses.
Well, and that was their thinking, is that if we waive impact fees, we'll be one of the few counties around that don't have it, and that will lure
Increase.
people
And it did
in.
not.
But
It
then
did
we have
not.
nothing, then we have no money to build for what we need for them.
It did not, the impact fees have been waived since 2009, almost as soon as they put them in, and it has not helped at all.
Until this recent boom.
And that had nothing to do with it, I don't think.
So immediately after they did it, it didn't.
It didn't.
And the boom is kind of happening everywhere in our area, and,
Right.
yeah, okay. Parking lot paving, did we ever get a cost on that?
So I met with Al this morning, I went over and, they're cutting, openings in the fence because we wanna have that ready for graduation. They've been going over and, mowing it, trying to remove any.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so if you go by there, there's 2 openings. There's an opening on the side of the, high school and one on the side of like, the other side. That side I can't show with my hands,
So-
but anyway, so there's a way they can get in and get out. We're not gonna take the fencing down from the highway because we don't wanna have to deal with semis or using it as a parking lot. We're gonna open it up for graduation for overflow. Alex said that he had spoke with, Tommy Perry about water flow and what we needed to do to take that next step before paving to make sure that the water can drain off. So he's gonna do a study to make sure that they can run culverts and make sure that it goes toward the ditch that's between like the B&B parking lot and the baseball field. So, Al is working on that. So I
Okay.
told him he had to complete that before he retired.
Okay.
Again.
Again.
So like, I'm worried about driving in there and getting a flat tire, like they've gone over, there's
No,
there's no nails and stuff like that.
Al and his crew have gone through and they
Okay.
have moved any large rocks or, obviously I can't guarantee that you're not
Right.
gonna get a flat tire,
But they've
but
been
you could
working
get a
on
flat tire going down 27. I mean, I can't promise that, but it'll be nice and I think that we're gonna have a lot of people that will be, happy to have it,
Yeah.
so.
We need to make sure that gate to the high school parking lot by the auditorium is
Yes,
open.
yes,
It
ma'am.
was closed after one of the programs I went to, and you had to circle all the way around and go out this way, and then people that used overflow parking had to walk all the way around to this gate.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't remember which program it was, but
One more thing, this is y'all's favorite, Medicaid.
Oh, goodness.
I know, Dr. Barfield's ready to get to the game, I'm sorry.
Oh.
But, and Dawn, I should have asked you about it today when we were talking, but, you had said you probably forgot, because I seriously forgot it till I found it in my notes today. But we wanted a list, and I saw a check to Civic Solutions again this month. We were gonna figure out how much we've paid them and how much we've gotten back from Medicaid. Do you remember that? You might not have been here when we gave you that job.
Board meeting, Mrs. Boyle stated the amount, because I had given her the amount that we got for, we've paid Civic Solutions $12,000, because it's $1,000 a month. And then,
But I meant from the get-go, when we first went into contract with them.
that's
Rhonda,
right.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't expect you to have it right now. I'm just reminding you, and I should have talked to you about that today and I forgot all about it. I'm
I'll
sorry.
send an email to all of
Okay.
you.
I just wanted to see how much we've paid them and how much we've gotten back. Because Ms. Boyle said our contract was about to expire with them.
And she's wanting to do it directly without
Yes.
going through Civic
Yes,
Solutions.
yes, and I hope that my memory is serving me and that is the right thing to do, because I don't think we got any bang for our buck.
I feel like it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, well, just make sure, make
We're
sure
a
with Ms.
bigger-
Boyles that we can do it without them.
Yeah, her and I have had quite lengthy discussions about it, and we
Okay.
feel if we were a bigger district and we had more students, and we were servicing more students,
Yeah, it would
then
make sense.
we might be getting a higher return, but at this time, we don't feel like we are.
Okay,
I mean, we're getting some, but it's not what we feel is beneficial.
okay. Thank you, that's all.
Okay, Hattie?
No, I'm good.
Mrs. Vaughn?
Well, I have one question. Do we have any updates on when we'll have our groundbreaking?
so we are looking for, possibility of shovels in the ground actually in August. So I know that's something we're working on. Mr. Aggressive and I are working. Hopefully
Really try to
we're gonna-
get Senator
yes.
Grawl and.
Absolutely, and also,
Representative Tuck
I
here.
mean, Senator Grawl and Kaylee, Tuck, and also at the time when, we first were approved, we had, the day it happened, I sent the governor an email and asking for him to come. Now, I don't know with the newest, new news, I mean, if he's gonna be able to make it, but
He
I
may
think
not
it's,
have time for a Moore Haven
I
stop.
know that, but you know what?
He might.
He might, and here's the other thing too. I think that it's a testament to what can happen, because I mean, this has been a lot of work that we've done as a board, and I know I think it's a testament what can happen when you put your mind to it, because this is 2 years of just hard pushing, and so we've got it, and but we'll definitely celebrate it when it's time.
So the only other thing I have is I just want to say that I have been very busy the last 2 weeks going to programs. The music programs at the high school were amazing. The kindergarten graduation this morning at Westglade School was really nice, and I'm looking forward to the Moorhaven Elementary School one on Tuesday. And I was very impressed with the FBLA Awards program. The number of students that have made amazing accomplishments through FBLA for their first year in existence. And they just went right through that program. It was awesome. And the class night and the scholarships, our kids, I hope they know how blessed they are, the amount of money that they receive through scholarships and are eligible to receive through scholarships, and I've really been blessed with all the programs that I've been able to go to, and we have an FFA banquet to go to now, and the things at the elementary school, Moorhaven Elementary School still, and
That's because her husband's out of town, y'all. She's got to find something to do.
Yeah, I don't think I went to all of these things last year. I hit some of them, but yes, he's out of town, so I'm going to everything, and it's awesome. I'm loving it. It's really cool. Miss Drake went with me today
It's
to
fun.
Westglades, and last night to Westglades to the music, the band concert at Westglades School yesterday blew my mind. They were so good. They played, they were as good as our high school band. We need them all to come to Moorhaven and join the band.
They really were good. They were impressive.
So that's it.
Okay. Dr. Rocco?
Okay, so just a couple of things, kind of going back to the Commissioner Summit. One of the things that was really, to me, stood out a lot is that, when they were reading the percentages of districts that had, had the higher amount of acceleration, classes, your AP classes, your collegiate classes. Glades County was in the top. We have 29% of our senior class that graduated with their AA degree, and next year they're on target to have 32% of the senior class graduating with their AA degree, and that was huge. And I earlier said a statement. The phrase was "Stay close, go further." That was the theme, and so they were. Dual enrollment is changing in Florida, and so that's what that meeting was about, on how students are counted for dual enrollment, accreditation, and acceleration. I told the lady that was over our group, I said, I have a board meeting Thursday night, and I said, I want to tell my board, what I learned and what, we found out about dual enrollment. And I said, so give me some 3 sentences to explain everything we've learned today. And she looked at me and she says, I have no idea. So it's very complicated. What I'm going to do, because it is a lot of information, we were told that they're going to be satelliting classes. There's going to be, like, for example, if there's a student at Moorhaven High School that wants to take a dual enrollment class, and let's say statistics at FSW. But there's one here, there might be one in Clueston, there might be 2 in LaBelle, there might be 2 in Okeechobee. Those kids would all be grouped together, and whatever goes on their transcript would go on their transcript for FSW, and that would continue. What the conversation was, that if a kid was to get, I guess, like if they were to go to University of Florida and they took English 1101, that should have the same bearing at University of Florida or FSW. So there won't be any more of this. Well, you have to take these classes to get into Florida and these classes to get into FSW. So all this is changing. I'm going to send you a lot of information on your email, because there's a lot of spreadsheets and you really just need to read it. One of the big things that we talked about was they compared us to all the different districts in the state. So you're going to get this very large Excel sheet, and we're doing really, really great, except where it comes for where it says graduates earning credit. I mean, you're going to see we're like blowing up 76%. But where we're losing points, and I know this is something Mr. Boyles has been working with. And I know last board meeting I got really excited because Sky Sluter, her class had 100% passing on the certification. There was 20-something students that passed, and of course that goes back to FBLA. Those are all certification points. In the 21-22 school year, we were one of the lowest in the state for one of the lowest in the state for. Where in retrospect, if you look at, say, Hendry County, they had 271. And they're, yes, they're a lot larger than us, but we just were not tackling the certification. So that's certification in, things that, we can do. Like one of the easiest, I shouldn't say easiest, but one of the most popular certification is entrepreneurship. That statewide, that's probably one of the most requested certifications. Well, we have a person in our district that is her degree is in entrepreneurship. So she could teach that, and that could get us, so we just have to be more strategic with those points. So when you get this, just read through it. And the DOE is going to be following up with us. So this is the Florida school system and district post-secondary. So I'm going to send you a bunch of data. And if you have any questions, you can, I always compare us to the consortium, even though most of the districts in the consortium are a lot larger than us. But to me, I think it's important. Digital design is another one that is extremely popular, and television production. Some of these that there are things that teachers that we have that have the degree or the certification that we're just not utilizing. So that's something that we're working on. And like I said, you'll be hearing a lot more because this is a big push from the Department of Education. They said that it was the first time that the college presidents sat with the superintendents and the guidance counselors and had that conversation, had that hard conversation about, look, it's, this isn't working. This is the way it used to be done, but now this is the way that we're doing it. So there was a lot of questions asked, and there was a lot of, we're not really sure, we're working through that, but we'll get there. Let's see. Okay,
Dr.
so
Barfield, what about the thing you told me from there about?
yeah. So one of the things that, you always get bits and pieces, and I love this. So when students get to their senior year, some of our students will they will get their high school diploma because they'll get a waiver because they're ESC. And one of the suggestions that they had was to take your students who are ESC students that that are going to get that waiver their senior year and go ahead and enroll them in your ITEX and get those points. So
Instead of remedial reading.
Instead of remedial reading, because they're going to get the waiver anyway. And we talked at our table in length about how technical, and I've had this conversation with many of you. Technical reading is more difficult than textbook reading. If technical is the words are different. There's a lot of vocabulary. There's a lot of textbook is completely different than technical. And if they can't read, if they're having a difficult time reading, the deficiencies are a lot more difficult, I should say. One thing that I did learn, and which I probably was disappointed about, is a lot of our students are not taking advantage of ITEC Glades. I think that they are very disheartened by some of what's being offered. I think they're real excited about the culinary position or the culinary classes that are opening. And I know in January we will be offering the mechanics or welding. So I know that's going to be a great thing for our kids. But we're having a hard time, having kids take classes. Either they're going to go collegiate. There's the haves and the have-nots. So there's kind of like you get it or you don't get it. And so we need to work on that other half. We've done great with those top 17 that can go and get their AA degree, but what about the other students that aren't wanting to go into, the college path? We need to push that career path. So we just need to do a better job, and I say we, I mean me, do a better job working with ITEC, making sure that we are offering classes that our students want to be a part of. We've got a great thing, and Mrs. Atkinson is doing an amazing job with our nursing. Which also is certification points, and she's doing a phenomenal. We've got a lot of interest. I know her classes are just packed because they love it, and then they can go right into ITEC. But it's something that we need to foster. I mean, we need to make sure that we're building that program. I know Mr. Sharp's classes today sat for the ag test, so all of this stuff comes together, and just trying to make sure that we're building the capacity to make sure that we're offering the classes the students want, and to market these classes, because I was really concerned. I know this time last year we were concerned about the numbers in band, but then you go to the band program and you go to the choir and the ensemble and you see the drum line, and there's a lot of interest. So we just have to make sure that we're scheduling correctly. I know Whitney, is she on? Whitney, are you on?
No, she gotta leave.
Okay.
Sorry.
So Whitney sent out the course descriptors for the students, and she sent me an email, and she was very touched, I guess was a good word that I could say, by what our students requested that they wanted. And I'll share that with you as well. But she said, these kids won't, so they don't want anything crazy. They really want some good solid stuff. So I'm excited about that. Did I answer your question, Ms. Drake, about that?
Yes.
Okay. We received a letter from the Florida College Access Network, and we've already discussed this, but I think it bears definitely, the work that went into it on behalf of Ms. Roms and Ms. Brown. It's just a letter saying congratulations to Glades County for officially a Florida FAFSA champion for the 22-23 school year. This means that your school boosted its completion rate of the free application for federal student aid by at least 5%. So I know Ms. Brown and Ms. Rhymes went up to receive an award, and so that was a great thing. So I wish Whitney was on because I know she would be able to show you, but I know we talked about this in the budget workshop, but one of the things I am extremely proud of, and I just cannot thank Whitney and Mr. Boyles enough. Mr. Boyles, I've known him for many years, back when he had lots and lots of hair. So, yeah. I think I made him pull what he has out, but and one thing I can say about him is when I ask him to do something, he does it with a lot of fidelity, and he brings a different light to things that sometimes, I don't see. And we said the number $1.2 million that we saved the district from last year to this year on cutting program costs, but I believe that number has actually gone up, and it's a lot of work that they have put into this, and I wish I could say that it was all me, but it definitely wasn't. It was all them. I did ask them, the task was great, and I know that there was a lot of conversation about, well, why are we cutting this program, or why are we cutting this program, and we really looked at usage and what, if we were paying $20,000 for a program and 2 kids were using it, then it wasn't really worth the $20,000. What was the application, and was it the usage? So kudos to Mr. Boyles, because that $1.2 million is huge. It will help us do a lot of great things. Speaking of that money, we had our first meeting with our teachers union, and we're giving them all a $20,000. No, I'm just kidding. We began negotiations, and we look like we're going to have a really solid go at it. We discussed some language, and we're ready. We're feeling really good. We have not talked about finances yet. As far as raises, we talked about what we'd like to do. But one of the things that I'm uncomfortable doing, and I'll just share with you, just from friends of mine that are superintendents and conversations I've been having in some of my groups, I'm really uncomfortable telling the teachers that I can afford something and then not be able to pay for it. And right now with the new voucher, what was signed into effect, I'm just not sure where we're going to come out on that. And I know we discussed that, how we could possibly do something here soon and then do something again like mid-year, because for every homeschool student, every private school student, that's money out of our district. And so I just want to make sure that before I commit to something, and I make make that to you or say to you, this is what I suggest, that I can stand behind it. And right now I just don't feel secure in it. I am working with Carol. Is she on?
No, she also had a leave.
Okay. I'm also working with Carol and Dawn, and we're looking at numbers continuously, and just making sure that that what we're spending is where we need to be. We know that what our surrounding counties are paying, and not that we just are waiting to see what they're paying, but we want to make sure that our teachers are well taken care of. And I know you all want that, and you showed that commitment when we paid them, when we came up with their salary for last year.
Dr. Barfield, did I read that the state is gonna do a hold harmless with that, and whatever our FTE count was last year is what we're gonna be funded for, and if kids leave?
So yes and no. from what I'm hearing and kind of what I'm reading, there's a lot of ifs. There's just not a lot of definite answers.
Yeah.
So, and I told Tammy and the rest of the negotiation team, when I give you a figure, I want to be okay that that's
Right.
going to be, and the other thing we talked about was bonus versus salary.
Right.
Do we want to give the bonus or do we want to give it salary? Because as you know, salary does not go into their FRS.
Bonus.
So, bonus does not go,
Bonus is
yeah, I'm sorry.
But what I was gonna say is, that's just for this year.
Correct.
So let's say we give everybody a big raise, but then next year we've lost 50 kids.
Right.
Will we be able to sustain that?
Well,
This year we
and
might be
some of the,
okay.
Some of the districts are having issues. Mr. Demchek, who is our union guy, he services, the, right in this area.
Mhm.
And there are some districts who used ESSER funds to up their pay scale, and it's gonna haunt them
Yeah,
in the next couple of years because they don't know where they're gonna find the money.
yeah, yeah, we don't wanna do that.
I want to ask a question too. You said that, gains weren't being recognized this year.
No, ma'am.
What about grades?
So, I'm real excited about the grades. I'm driving Mr. Boyles crazy. I know, he's watching the data very, very closely. There's a lot that we do not know yet. We don't know how our civic scores. I did ask, because you had asked me about that, and I talked to Mr. Clark yesterday, and he said probably like 3 months it probably would be back. I know,
Oh my goodness.
June, July, so it's not really 3 months, but, so right now, I've told this, right now, we're midway. I mean, we could be a B district, which would be the first time since 2014. However, we just don't know where the high school's gonna fall. That has a lot of our points. Remember, some of the points are a year lagging. So like our graduation rate, all of that will be from a year ago for this series. So one of the things that we're looking at right now is just like, you're looking at proficiency and, the high school, and I know the elementary school too, if we would have had gain scores, we would have been a
Cause
definite.
that's not used in the calculation.
No, ma'am.
Just this year or from now on?
This year, and I don't know, I'm
Well,
thinking.
it can't, cause it's a new test, so next year we will
Correct.
have.
Happen every year.
Correct.
Even if you were an
They
A, you
are
found
gonna
that
assign
you couldn't make any more
Yes.
gains.
Yes.
And that's what happened to us.
So to me,
Well, in the beginning, and then things just got worse.
we can already see the growth in all of our schools, every school. Some more than others, but they all showed growth in different areas. And some dramatic.
Well, the reason I'm asking is there's a whole bunch of new residents in Buckhead Ridge and outside of Buckhead Ridge, and there's an individual that's been giving my telephone number out to like 7 families now, and I'm supposed to be contacting them over the weekend. And we're all planning on going to Okeechobee, so I wanted to have something positive to share.
So I'm meeting with some families from Buckhead as well. I did not know there was
Right across the
Yeah.
street from me as well.
So I think there's a lot going on. I think that we just have to make sure that we promote our successes and
And I'm really excited because it's the first time that anybody's really asked me,
Yeah.
and now we have someone that's gonna be running for county commissioner that wants to be involved in the school. And he's gonna be bringing things to their meetings every month to try to get all the people that have children in Buckhead to get on the bus and come this way.
Okay.
Which really excites me.
and I believe ROTC, Ms. Pearl, when I called last year and I want to say there was an issue aside, but I'm going to follow up with that and I will email you all the answer to that. And just one last thing and then I'm done. We have 14 teachers, which you all approved for the Teachers Together, Ron Clark. I am getting the most amazing messages and goodness gracious, they are just on fire. I know, Moorhaven Elementary has been blowing my phone up. I mean, it's crazy. They're like, we need to do this, they're sending me lists of things that they need when they come back, and, they said that it's just crazy. They actually got to meet Ron Clark today and have, talk to him, and they all were just really excited. And, I know a couple of people were asking me, what's the significance of this? Like, non-educators, like, what's the significance of Ron Clark? And I said, if you can see the social media posts and you could read my text messages, you would see that it's just bringing back to the community and back to our schools, excitement. And, so I'm really excited to see what's going on there. As you all know, we have a football game going on right now. They did start on time, but that's all I have. I'm excited about the end of the school year, and we only have a few more days, and we're ready to be done.
Anybody have anything else?
I have questions about tomorrow night. How early being that you're gonna be full, where are we?
So the school board has seats on the stage.
Figured
They are, because it is in the cafeteria. It is in the auditorium. It's not in the cafeteria. Usually it'll be on Facebook. You're gonna be on the stage, and then, I've asked my directors not to attend because there's not gonna be room. So I asked my directors not to attend because they give room for high school teachers. Each graduate were given 8 tickets, and they were given more tickets today. So I would get there probably, I would say around 6:35, 6:40, to give you time to park and to walk up there.
Okay, I was just wondering.
So, and we've been checking the weather continuously, and it looks like it's probably gonna be raining. So that's why we moved it inside.
And it's gonna start early in the day tomorrow, so it's not even gonna be like a break, or it'll happen before it happens, so it's.
Raining out there now.
I don't know. Is it raining outside? It is.
What, it's drizzling.
But the field is, and I wanna just say this publicly because I know people watch the meetings. I obviously am not a lawn maintenance person, know nothing about grass on the football field. So the expert Albert Brown, I went to him to find out what he thought about having graduation on the field, and he walked it. I walked it, and it's almost like, if you can imagine a sponge. It's very damp. Yes, you can play football on it.
I was wondering how they're tearing it up tonight.
I'm sure I'm sure it is, but walking across it for graduation is completely different. And, so, I graduated in 1990. I was talking with someone that graduated in 1985 today, and they said the same thing happened to me the day of. It was pouring, and we had to move to the auditorium.
Well, now we have a nice auditorium though.
Now we have a nice auditorium, and the decision to move it to the auditorium was, we made it early because we were watching the weather, and because the field was already wet. There is another venue in town that we could have utilized, but there was too many negatives to move it there. It just wasn't ready. It wasn't, for the graduation, and like Patty said, we have a beautiful auditorium, and that's why we have that. So,
And eight tickets is a lot. And I'm sure there's children that won't need that many, and they'll share theirs, so I think it'll be just fine, and especially being that we're live streaming it.
So, anyway, we'll see how it goes.
Will the overflow be in the cafeteria, did you say?
So, well, it's being live streamed, so I think that was maybe why possibly, and I don't know that because I wasn't here, but I think that's why it was live streamed from the cafeteria, because before it wasn't put out on the internet, but now they can sit in their living room and watch it. However, we will have an area for people that if they can't make it into the auditorium, that they can, yes ma'am, absolutely.
And that's all gonna be available for me to share and put up so that people
It's already
will be
up.
able to go. Okay.
It's already been shared. Glades County Schools shared it.
Okay.
Listen, 50% of the people think it's a great idea, the other 50 are, I'm not happy about it, but you've got to do what's best and for the
I'll share this with
safety.
you, the very first year that it was built, and it came graduation time, and it was shared with the class that they were graduating in the auditorium. We were so proud that they threw a fit, and nobody wanted to get going. They wanted to graduate like their parents did. On the field.
Well, the
And then
field
so-
is kind of a tradition.
And everybody can come,
And
they
it
can sit
is
their cars.
beautiful on the field if it's not raining. But but we have a nice auditorium and this weather is very unpredictable and I think you made a wise decision.
Mutually. Anybody have anything else?
Maybe we could graduate earlier, before the rains start.
So,
I actually made a suggestion that for 8 o'clock because it was supposed to be.
No, I'm talking about like
In the day doesn't
last
rain.
Friday, there was no rain and a lot of schools in the area graduated last week.
so I can just tell you, this is how it goes. I feel like I'm the expert of it. So, I guess the word got out today, and some of the juniors came and they were messaging and going to their teachers, panic. Now they heard a rumor, the school board and the superintendent were gonna make them get graduated at the Bronson Arena, and they did not want that.
Oh, Lord.
So then my email starts blowing up, I'm like, what? I'm like, no, that is not, but I do think, and Ms. Drake, you brought up a great point. I think that as a board, we need to come up with, it needs to be put in policy, maybe not policy, but I don't know if
That
that's,
it would be on the field unless, only weather permitting, weather permitting.
so. I mean, I think that we do need to, who makes the decision, when it's made, what. We thought by making it on Wednesday that it would be easier for the families to make plans around that, and we understand that people have brought plane tickets and all that, and we hope, my prayer is that everyone can be accommodated, because I want everyone to be able to celebrate the seniors. They've had a great year and they've got a lot to celebrate. However, it just isn't possible. And if we were in a larger town where there was a bigger facility, then we would move it there. But we're not there, so we have to work with the facilities we have.
I think even the big schools, when Charity graduated, she graduated from Palm Beach Lakes, Palm Beach Gardens High School. It's a huge school and they were in a huge facility. They were in the old High Life Fronton in West Palm Beach. But we still had a limited number of tickets because you're talking about 2,000 students.
We had 8 tickets whenever I graduated, and then in 2018, when my daughter graduated, she only had 10 tickets.
Well, when TJ graduated, we had 4, and so Thomas and I both are bigger people, and so we both said we'd take 2 so we could have bigger seats. So just let everybody know. I mean, you just, what can you say?
Okay, if nothing else, I'll adjourn the meeting.
Nope. All righty. See everybody at the game.
Stay safe with this over the weekend. This hotel is really bad.